All rise, we will begin. The International Criminal Court is now in session. L'audience le Cour Penal International est ouverte. Please be seated. Voyez vos asseoir.
Thank you very much. Court officer, please call the case. Thank you very much. Any changes in appearances?
Mr. President, good morning. The prosecution remains the same, save for the absence of Thomas Franziger.
And I noticed there was somebody who joined your team in the course of yesterday's proceeding.
Indeed, and we were remiss to not add him to the record. That's Mr. Peter Schotzman, prosecution interpreter. Yes.
Mr. Naratek?
We remain the same, Your Honor. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. President, Your Honours. The defence for Mr. Ruto remains the same, save that Ms. Sullivan and Ms. Jairaj have rejoined us.
Mr. President, Mr. Sang's team remains the same, except that Logan Hambrick is out, but will join us a little later. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Prosecution, you requested to commence without a witness in light of some matter you want to address.
Your Honours, yes, we did, and we're grateful that that request was granted. I would just seek 2 or 3 minutes to put on the record and explain to the Chamber how we intend to proceed with this witness. We've given it some thought overnight, and we felt conscious of the Chamber's oral ruling on modalities and practicalities of eliciting the evidence of this witness, that if certain things could be clarified at the start of the day, and we thought it best that that be in the absence of the witness, that might be the best way to proceed, so that there's a practicable, feasible, and amenable manner to elicit this evidence and progress through what the witness has to say.
We are in open session. Is this something we can discuss in the open session?
From our perspective, we don't see why not. If Your Honours feel otherwise, we can...
Oh, no. You know what you want to discuss, so why don't you then proceed?
I'm grateful. So, of course, the witness that the court has before it is one who understands the Kalenjin language, and this is an important part of their testimony. And he's testifying to speeches that he listened to where at least parts of those speeches were in Kalenjin. And given that he's able to recant and repeat the words that he heard at the speeches, the court has the benefit of there being created an audio-visual record.
Did you say recant or recount?
Recount. To recount. Yes, I'm grateful. Recount. But we appear to have some transcription issues, but I'll concede.
Yes, the transcript seems to... anyway, there may be a need to technically sort out something with the transcript. I understand it's being attended to. Okay. Please proceed.
So, as I mentioned, the benefit of that for the court and for the participants is that, at a minimum, an audio-visual record is created in the recording of these proceedings for the court, and all parties are free in the fullness of time to make submissions on what the witness then utters, and that needn't be here and now, and it certainly need not be in the presence of the witness. But, of course, there's only a small minority of individuals in the courtroom who understand the Kalenjin language itself. And so for the benefit of the majority who don't, we're assisted by having in-court interpretation from Swahili to English as well. And the witness has shown himself able to also say what he heard, what he says he heard in Swahili as well. And my learned friends, appropriately enough, said that if the witness can say what he heard in Kalenjin, he should say that. And the prosecution doesn't disagree with that. And I think everybody in court is on the same page on that. And certainly based on our observations of the witness towards the end of yesterday's session, it appears that doing it that way round, that he say it in Kalenjin first, and then explain to the court in Swahili, which can then be interpreted, the same words, it also seems to our eyes, to make more sense in the mind of the witness. He seemed more comfortable to do it that way. So I propose that that's how I'll proceed. And then once he said it in Kalenjin to create the audio record, and then Swahili to create the written record, which can be attested to later by the parties, I would then ask the witness of any meaning or significance that he may or may not attach to those words. And I stress the parties can debate these at a later time. And then finally, when we know whether those words, placed in their context by the witness, are pertinent and are relevant, then, if necessary, we can put on the record the exact Kalenjin words in the manner that we did yesterday with the assistance of our friends from the defense. But I submit that we should only engage in that exercise when it's strictly necessary. So certainly, this way the record will be preserved, both in writing and audiovisually, and submissions can be made later. Now, the reason I'm proposing to proceed in this way, and I intend to proceed in this way if the court is minded, is that the witness has stated that he attended no fewer than 5 rallies. And I don't wish to presuppose the witness's evidence, but I anticipate that there may be further speeches he heard where similar or at least repetitious phrases may arise. And we submit to engage in the transcription exercise of the Kalenjin words. For every word uttered at every rally, we could be here for quite some time indeed. And certainly, once any new content that arises, if should they arise, any new phrases, any new terms, we would put those on the record with the Kalenjin.
Let me, I may have lost you. What are you proposing that we do differently? It seems to me, so let me tell you where we are. The chamber is also of the view that it should be better to where some Kalenjin phrases or words have been used and the witness is testifying to those. We receive the Kalenjin first, and then the witness tells us what that means, and he does so in Swahili so that interpreters will interpret that, and then any discussions that need to be done we'll do. We didn't do it that way systematically yesterday, but we think we should proceed with that system from now going forward. It seems to me that you are agreeable to that, so that is also what you're thinking. Is that correct?
It's exactly correct, Your Honor.
Now, beyond that, what else are you saying we should do differently?
If it's terms or words which are similar or repetitious to words that have already been noted in the record in the manner that we did yesterday, we don't want to, for lack of a simpler phrase, spell it out every time, because then it will take too long. Now, we noted Your Honour's indication at the end of yesterday's hearing that we already have certain phrases noted in the record which appear similar or repetitious to how we'd left yesterday's evidence. And Your Honour noted that it might be effective to inquire with the witness whether what we have noted is the same as what he subsequently says he heard, or whether there are variations. And we concur with Your Honours that this is more efficient progressing when things are similar or repetitious than having to spell it out each time. And the last qualifier I'll make is that we do consider it important that if new content, clearly new topics are brought into the record by the witness, that those be spelt out at that instance.
We indicated you're right, indeed. I see your concern. Your concern is whether each time we do the same exercise of Kalenjin, even though the words may be the same as we had already received onto the record. Of course, yes, we did indicate that it would be more efficient if the words are already on the record to not do repetitive exercise in that regard. But the defense have a different view, and they're entitled to their view. So it's a matter of whether they also see the need to prefer the regime of efficiency or whether they have an issue, a forensic importance to them that drives them to insist that it be done that way. So we will hear from them, and then we will...
If I may, very quickly, just before my learned friends do respond, of course, there are... it's a balance. It's a balance that needs to be drawn between putting it on the record in that, with that technique every single time for multiple rallies versus the efficiency of these proceedings and moving forward and progressing. Now, of course, this is a prosecution witness, and the prosecution has called this witness, and the prosecution ultimately is the party eliciting the evidence. The defense will cross-examine the witness, I'm sure, and they'll have ample opportunity to canvass spoken discrepancies or versions of events as experienced by the witness. It's the very purpose of that questioning. So in our submission, their ability to cross-examine and to canvass these issues fully takes into account that balance.
Mr. Khan?
Your Honours, why are the prosecution reluctant for the witness to specify, in relation to only 5 rallies, the words that Mr. Ruto is alleged to have said? Your
They're
Honour,
not reluctant to do so. They just want to see if there is a more efficient way of doing that. It's not reluctance.
Well,
so can you address
Your Honour,
the need why we should do it the way you prefer?
Yes. Well, Your Honour, if I can, before I say that, in the statement, one of the difficulties is how the prosecution approached this from the beginning. Because normally in a statement which one is taking in a criminal proceeding, knowing the requirement of specificity and detail, one would have elicited in that interview over 3 days what was said exactly and then the translation.
Mr. Khan, so that we can get through this quickly, the point was it's about our procedure. If you don't agree with that procedure, just say you don't agree. You're entitled to say we want the words revisited every time. How we do it is a different question. Whether we say, well, we already have the spellings, we don't want to task Mr. Bosek again with getting up and repeating what we already have, what he'd done on a previous occasion. I mean, he was generous enough. That's not his job, but he's been kind enough to assist us with that, and whether we want to keep doing that every time, or whether we would say, well, witness, the words you said you heard on the occasion B, are they the same as you said we had on occasion A?
Your Honour, I'm grateful. I've spoken to my learned friend, Mr. Bosek, and he's very kindly indicated he's more than willing to assist the court. We do require, with the greatest of respect and with the leave of the court, that the witness is required to say, in relation to every rally he says he attended, what he says, the exact formulation, to the best of his recollection, that he attributes to Mr. Ruto, that is the basis of the charges preferred by the prosecution.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Your Honour, could I also make the observation, I know my learned friends have an interpreter in Swahili. Is there another interpreter they've got in the Kalenjin language? Because ultimately the words that are of interest to the court are the words uttered in Kalenjin. And that's just an observation I make, because in a criminal proceeding, the bench want to have an understanding of what is said, allegedly said, by an individual in the original language. Your Honour, there is an interpreter here in Swahili. It may be of assistance at some point for my learned friends to have somebody in Kalenjin. But Your Honour, Mr. Bosek has indicated he's willing to assist, and we have absolutely no objections to that and are grateful for that assistance.
And Mr. Bosek, once more, the court chamber thanks you very much for your willingness to assist.
I'm most obliged, Mr. President, Your Honours.
We are having difficulties with the transcript.
As are we, Your Honour.
Yes, it's being attended to. Right. I believe we can still, while other things are being done. Right. Is it all right. I've been requested to urge everyone to reconnect to the transcript so that there are no difficulties. She's done it for each of us, so if you can do it on your own stations as well. We will proceed as follows. We will repeat it every time. We'll repeat the exercise of getting the Kalenjin words that the witness said he had spoken. Mr. Bosak has kindly agreed to keep on assisting. We're grateful to him. Let's proceed in that way. If there's a need to revisit the matter later on, we will do so at that time. But for now, that's how we will proceed.
Mr. President, you will recall yesterday that we had an argument about some words, and I was made to understand that the English translation that we receive on the transcript is a translation of the Kiswahili into French, then into English. And Mr. President, I observed that, in fact, in that process, some words change meaning. And I just wanted to highlight that point, Mr. President, because there was the use of the word herb. And in English, herb doesn't mean weed, but I'm told the word for herb and grass in French are almost similar. And that could have been the cause of the disagreement yesterday. Mr. President, I just wanted to highlight that just in case it comes up later on.
Fair enough. The disagreement was on whether the word was weed or grass, wasn't it?
Yes, Mr. President, but the interpreter insisted that the word that had been used was herb, and that would mean weed.
I thought the record is on what it says. We need not settle what the interpreter said. I thought I heard weed or grass or herb. Any of those, but we'll leave it at that. We need not delay. One more matter, Mr. Naratsetsek, the matter of when the Victims' Council, that's either Mr. Nderitu or yourself, should commence examination if the chamber grants leave for you to examine the witness. We thought we'll return to that matter. You should be prepared to start. We will not be adjourning the proceedings so that Mr. Nderitu comes from Kenya to examine the witness himself. We will not do that. If he joins us in good time for him to ask the questions himself, that will be between him and you to decide who asks questions. But if he is not in court by the time the prosecution finishes, and there's enough time for you to ask the questions, the court will require you to ask those questions. You've been in court and listening to the testimony of the witness, including those received in private session. So, and we know that you're well able to ask a question. So we thought we'd put you on alert well ahead of the completion of the prosecutor's examination in chief.
I'm grateful, Your Honor, but if I may I propose another solution? Something we have consulted with our prosecution, friends of our prosecution, and some representatives of the defense. I have consulted Mr. Ndretu about this, and he wishes that ideally he would want to question the witness himself, but if he is not in time to question himself, he was also open to the idea that with the chamber's leave, of course, the defense can proceed with their cross-examination, and when he comes on Monday, he can take on after the defense, Your Honor. And as you honestly know, according to the decision on the victim participation and representation, we are not allowed to raise any new issues. We will only question the witness as regards to the personal harm he and his family has suffered. Therefore, Your Honor, in our view,
what was the chamber's ruling about the order? Order of questioning when leave is given to victims' counsel to ask questions.
Your Honor, we are mindful of that order, Your Honor. We are, in principle, called to question the witness if Your Honor grant our request, just following the prosecution's direct examination, Your Honor. But on this exceptional case, Your Honor, since Mr. Ndretu wishes to question this himself, we would grateful, Your Honor, if you allow the defense continue following the prosecution's direct examination and allow him to question the witness starting Monday.
Mr. Khan, you heard Mr. Naratsatsak, so he's asking whether the defense might be minded to go first. We want to avoid a situation where there's a large gap when we're waiting for Mr. Ndretu to come from Nairobi.
I'm grateful. As far as our defence team is concerned, we would object, we would have difficulties, because obviously we are cross-examining a witness on testimony that's been elicited by the prosecution and anything from the legal representatives of the defence, and it wouldn't be right, it would be very inefficient to have to revisit matters.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Mr. Naratsatsak, as indicated, if the prosecution finishes in good time today and leaves, if we have, say, maybe 1 hour or 30 minutes, perhaps we can allow counsel to go and prepare and do other things. But if there's more time than that, we will require you to start. Thank you.
I'm grateful, John. Thank you.
We will then begin the testimony of the witness.
Mr. President, could I indicate that if the prosecution are through today, I am prepared to go first, and whatever comes up from the victims when the Ruto comes on Monday, I could request my colleague, Mr. Khan, to take care of. That way we can accommodate.
So you can accommodate Mr. Ndretu in that way?
Assuming we are ready today. Of course, if we get to Monday, I'm sure Mr. Ndretu will take care of himself.
Yes, yes. Thank you. All right. That's kind of very, very okay. Let's bring down the blinds and then bring the witness in.
Nous sommes en audience publique, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you. Ms. Pugliese, please proceed.
Witness, good morning. When we... Yes, when we left off yesterday afternoon, you had told the court about attending a rally in Nandi Hills Stadium. Do you remember?
Ndio, ninakumbuka.
And you had told the court about listening to a speech from Henry Kosgei, and then you were telling the court about listening to a speech by William Ruto. Do you recall?
Nilisema hivyo.
And do you recall that you told the court that Mr. Ruto started his speech in Swahili and then moved into the Kalenjin language?
Ni hivyo.
And when I asked you, what do you recall Mr. Ruto saying when he spoke in Kalenjin, you told the court something in Kalenjin. And when you said it in Swahili, we have it as, we don't want the trees which were brought by the whites. Do you remember saying that yesterday at the end of the day?
Nakumbuka.
Okay, so we're going to repeat the exercise that we did yesterday of making sure that the court has on the record the exact Kalenjin words that you heard. So I'm going to ask you now to repeat slowly and clearly the Kalenjin words you heard Mr. Ruto say when he said, as you say, we don't want the trees which were brought by the whites. Can you do that?
Ninaweza kufanya hivyo.
So if my learned friends from the defense are ready with their pens, witness, if you could now say slowly and clearly the Kalenjin words that you heard.
Magimaje ketit nijibu jumbe.
Mr. President Jonas, Magimache ketit ne kiibu chumbeg. Could I spell it?
Why don't you repeat to him so that the process we followed yesterday, once he agrees to that's it, then you spell it.
Witness, umesema Magimache ketit ne kiibu chumbeg.
Kasawa.
He's saying it's okay. And Magimache, Mr. President Jonas, is M-A-G-I-C-H-E. The second word, ketit, is K-E-T-I-T. The third word is N-E. The fourth word will be G-I-I-P-U. Then chumbeg is C-H-U-M-P-E-K.
B-E-K, you said?
Yes, Mr. President Jonas.
Thank you very much.
Yes, now it works. Witness, I'm going to now repeat those words to you in Kalenjin. Please listen and tell me if this is what you heard Mr. Ruto say. Magi che ketit ne gipu chumpek. Is that what you heard Mr. Ruto say?
Sijatamka vile nilisema kutamka.
Mr. President, can I just make a suggestion? It may be welcomed by my learned friend. It's my respectful submission. Our concern was to get the Kalenjin words on the record. And Mr. Bozic, of course, put the Kalenjin words to the witness. The witness accepted that they were the words, and we have a transcription. So I'm not insisting, and it's not required in my respectful submission, for my learned friend once again to repeat the words. It just may assist matters. But it's a matter for my friend, of course.
No, we do require for him to do that. We require for Mr. Pugliati to put it back to the witness so that later on we don't run into any arguments later, as you may well see happening now.
And Mr. President, what's happening is that my learned colleague missed out the first word. He didn't say it. And I think that's what the witness is concerned with.
Which word would that be?
Makimaje. My learned friend, I think, missed out to a vowel and a consonant. If you could read it again, I'm sure the witness will be able to confirm.
I mean, obviously I'm at a disadvantage because I don't speak the language, so I don't know if I'm saying the words correctly, but I'm assisted if the first word could be respelled for the record, because, and I may be wrong, but I don't see it.
Mr. Keegan Katwa, how would you spell the first word?
The spelling was correct. It's my colleague who missed it out. It's not.
Okay, I'll tell you what I have. What I have would be M-A-G-I-C-H-E, the first word.
Exactly, Mr. President. That's correct.
And Mr. Pugliati did read it, maybe.
Mr. President, I've discovered that the spelling is actually wrong. And I also wish to say, Mr. President, that Ama Kipsigis and K will come in. For Nandi, it will actually be G. It's the same word, but they flow together. It should have been M-A. For the Kipsigis will be G-I, but for the Nandi it will be K-I. M-A. C-H-E, so that it's Makimache.
All right, can you take it slowly? Again, let's spell what the witness actually said. You heard him? Yes. So, yes, there may well be there may be, variances in dialect among the Kalenjins, resulting in different spellings, but we want exactly what the witness had said in the way. I'm sure you can do it that way.
President,
Thank you.
The witness actually said Magimache ketit ne giibu chumbek, and I've said that, Mr. President, that Magimache will be M-A-K-I-M-A-C-H-E.
So the only difference then would be with the Magimache, right?
Yes, Mr. President.
So the Ketit Ne Gipu Chumbek will still be the same.
Kibu will be K-I-I-B-U. Yes.
One final clarification. Yesterday, the spelling of Makimoche was with an O, not an A. So if that could be clarified, we'd be grateful.
Your Honor, I think the difficulty is the transcript actually hasn't accurately recorded the spelling that my learned friend gave. The spelling that he gave was M-A-G-I-M-A-C-H-E, whereas on the transcript at page 17, line 25, it's spelled M-A-G-I-C-H-E.
That is actually what I recorded myself, not looking at the transcript on that occasion. So let's forget the previous exercise
So be it.
and take it from the revised stance now. We now have M-A-K-I or G-I, but let's say M-A-K-I, M-A-C-H-E, K-E-T-I-T, N-E, G-I-I-B-U, C-H-U-M-B-E-K. Mr. Pugliati, can you take it from there, please? See if the witness reacts differently to that spelling.
Just before I do, respectfully, I believe Mr. Bosek corrected the Jipu to Kibu. I believe he corrected it to the Kalenjin being K-I-I-B-U.
Right. Fair enough. Can we then do that?
Witness, I'm going to read to you once again the Kalenjin words, and you can listen, please, and tell the court if this is what you heard Mr. Ruto saying. Maki machi ketik ne kibu chumpek.
Sawa.
And for the record, could you say in Swahili what that means?
Inamaanisha hatutaki miti ambazo zililetwe na wazungu.
Now, witness, can you tell the court what your understanding of that phrase, that sentence, means to you?
Alikuwa akimaanisha hataki watu ambao walichukua maardhi zao kutoka katika mikono za wazungu.
Okay, I have some follow-up questions. I just want to break that down. You said he didn't want people who had taken their wealth. Which people is he referring to? Who are the people?
Alizungumzia kama Waluya, Wajaluo, Wakikuyu na Wakisii.
Mr. Pugliati, I do recall this witness saying, he said it, of course, in the context of his recounting of what Mr. Koski, he said Mr. Koski had said. And he said on the previous occasion, at the time, he didn't understand what was meant, but it was later on that he understood what was meant. So keep that in mind when you ask him questions about what words meant. I do not know whether that's the same with what he had of according to him, from Mr. Ruto.
Witness, is this the same thing you heard?
Your Honour, my friend shouldn't lead. I think the question can be put differently.
I'll actually ask a different question. Witness, when you understood what you just told the court about reference to the trees, when did you come to understand that?
Baadaye
And what did you understand it to mean?
nilielewa hawataki sasa kabila sisi tuko huko tuwe sehemu hiyo.
And what caused you to understand this?
Sababu haikuwa lugha yao ya kuongea kawaida kama vile walikuwa wakiongea.
And did Mr. Ruto say anything else on this matter?
Arudia tu hizo mambo ambayo Enwi alikuwa amesema ya nyazi msiwache ikameba katika manyumba zenyu.
Yes, I will come to that. I'm still asking you about Mr. Ruto talking about the trees brought by the white men. In regards to this matter, did Mr. Ruto say anything else?
Mambo mengi walikuwa wakiongea. Aliongea akasema siku ya kufika ya kufanya kazi mtafanya vile tulimwambia.
Yes, I'll come to that as well, witness. I'm still asking you about Mr. Ruto's comments regarding what he referred to, or who he referred to as trees. So, just asking you about trees, did Mr. Ruto say anything other on that matter regarding the trees they did not want, you said?
Sababu ndio walikuwa wamenunua ardhi kwa wingi sehemu hizo.
And did Mr. Ruto say anything in that regard concerning the people who bought a lot of land in that place?
Vile aliongea ikaonyesha maongeo yake ilikuwa inalenga wale watu ambao walinunua mashamba.
And when you say targeting, what do you understand that to mean?
Maana ya kulenga ni kuonyesha wale watu wako kabila zingine wako tofauti na kabila yake.
And how would that be shown?
Sababu ya kusema hawataki miti ambayo iletwe na wazungu ilikuwa inamaanisha kwa sababu hizi kabila ndio ziliofanyia kazi wazungu kwa muda mrefu.
Okay, witness, I'll move on. I'll just take you back to something you said a moment ago. And you said that another thing Mr. Ruto said during his speech, if the court just bear with me.
Nilisema hivyo.
You said a moment ago that, and I'm just reading from the transcript at page 23, line 14, line 11, 14 rather, he repeated the same thing, saying that we shouldn't let the grass penetrate into your house. Do you recall saying that?
Hivyo nilisema hivyo.
Okay, so for the benefit of the court, once again, slowly and clearly, please can you repeat the Kalenjin words that you recall?
Magemaje umetei suswe kolandai agoigot.
Bear with us, witness, one moment.
Witness, umesema magimache umetai suswe kolanda agoi court.
Nasema hivyo.
The first word, Mr. President Jonas, will be magimache, which is M-A-K-I-M-A-C-H-E. The second word is ometai, O-M-E-T-A-I. Suswek, which is the third word, is S-U-S-W-E-K. The fourth word, Kolanda, is K-O-L-A-N-D-H. That is K-O-L-A-N-D-H. A-N-D-A. Agoi is A-G-O-I. Got is G-O-T.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boswick.
Okay, witness, I'm going to repeat those challenging words. Please listen to me and tell me if this is correct or not. Makimache, omete, suswek, kolanda, agoi, got. Are those the words you heard?
Hivyo nimesema ni hiyo ambayo nilisikia.
And just for clarity on the record, one more time in Swahili, what does that mean, please, to you?
Katika lugha ya Kiswahili ni kumaanisha msiwache nyazi ikatambae katika nyumba zenyu.
Okay, and when you heard that, did you understand what it meant, or did you come later to understand what that meant to you?
Maana yake nilisikia nyuma.
And when you understood later, what did you understand it to mean?
Ndio nilijua ya kwamba inamaanisha kwa sababu hizi kabila zingine ndio zilikuwa zimenunua mashamba katika kila sehemu.
And did Mr. Ruto, when he said this, tell the crowd anything else?
Kuwa akizidisha kusema siku itafika mfanye kazi vile tumemwambia.
All right, I'll ask you some questions about that, Mr. Witness. Did you understand at the time, or did you come to understand later, any meaning in Mr. Ruto's words?
Rudia hapo.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Witness, let's get the Kalenjin on the record and then we'll come to discussing it. So what we have is, you said you heard Mr. Ruto say that when the day comes, do the work according to our instructions. Now, slowly and clearly, could you please say one at a time what you heard in Kalenjin when Mr. Ruto said that?
Are we to understand that if that was also in Kalenjin? The witness hasn't said that.
That's a very good point, Your Honor. I'll clarify that, and then, if necessary, we'll get the Kalenjin. Witness, when Mr. Ruto said, when the day comes, do the work according to our instructions, in which language was he speaking?
Alisema katika lugha ya Kalenjin.
All right, so we'll ask you to repeat those words in Kalenjin slowly and clearly and one at a time. In your own time, go ahead.
Kimache Wai kasit kumie Chagoni.
Can you repeat that again, slowly?
Ndio nitarudia. Kimaje Wai kasit kumie Tiamawi.
Witness, umesema kimache oai kasit komie ne kiagonin. Is that correct?
Iko sawa.
Mr. President, Your Honors, the first word is kimache is K.
1 second.
Sorry.
The eco sour, that's not
That is
challenge.
correct. That is in Kiswahili, said in Kiswahili that it's okay.
Right. We needed the interpretation of that to come in. Interpreters tell us the witness accepted what Mr. Bosek said. Is that it? Mr. Bosek, can you do that again, please? And interpreters, can you let us know when the witness reacts to Mr. Bosek's reading back the words?
Mr. Witness, umesema kimache oai kasit komie ne kiagonin.
Iko sawa.
Mr. President, Your Honors, kimache is K-I-M-A-C-H-E. Oai is O-A-I. Kasit is K-A-Z-I-T. Komie, K-O-M-Y-E. Then the other word is N-E. Kiagonin, the last word is K-I-A-G-O-N-I-N.
Thank you very much. Mr. Pugliati, back to you.
Witness, it's now me again repeating the Kalenjin. Please listen carefully. Kamiche, oe, kazit, komye, ne, kiagonin. Is that correct?
Iko sawa.
And for the record, what does that mean in Swahili?
Katika lugha ya Kiswahili ni kumaanisha nataka mfanye kazi ile tulimpatia katika njia mzuri.
I'm just going to ask you some questions to break that down. Who is he asking to do the work?
Hapo inaonekana alikuwa amejua tayari wenye amepea kazi wafanye kazi, kwa sababu sisi wengine tulijua ni kura ndio tulikuwa tumeambiwa tupige kura.
Just to get some clarity, who is we? Who are you referring to when you say we?
Kuna wenye inaonekana walikuwa wamejua kama kabla yake ya Kalenjin kazi ambao watafanya siku hiyo inapofika.
And was that your impression at the time of hearing it?
Mimi nilikuwa nimejua ni kura, lakini hawa kwa sababu alisema katika lugha yao ya Kalenjin, kaonekana wako na kazi tayari wamepewa kuifanya.
Who is they who was to do the work when he spoke in Kalenjin?
Ni watu wa kabila yake.
And just to be clear, what did you understand the members of his ethnic group were supposed to do?
Sababu nilikuja pata jibu tayari, nyuma yake vile vita ilikuweko. Kaonekana hiyo ndio kazi alikuwa amewaambia watakuja fanya baadaye.
Just so the record is as clear as it can be, when you say later that you got the answer, just explain what you mean by the answer.
Sababu ilikuwa na vurugu misha yake.
Okay, witness, I'll ask you some different questions now about Mr. Ruto's speech. Is there anything else that you remember or that sticks in your mind from that speech?
Sababu vile alisema katika maongeo yake, mtafanya kazi vile nilimwambia, ndio kitu ilikuwa nikiwazia katika akili zangu ni kazi gani.
Yes, I understand that. I've asked you questions on that, and you've given us answers. I was asking if there were any different matters or any different topics or words that you recall Mr. Ruto saying.
Sababu ilikuwa ni mambo ya miti, mambo ya kung'oa magugu, nyazi hiyo. Nikakuwa mambo ya kufanya kazi vile nimemwambia. Ndio bado naifahamu katika kichwa changu.
Now, you've already testified that your understanding of when his reference to trees was non-Kalenjin groups. Is that correct?
Alikuwa anamaanisha hivyo.
And you've also testified that his use of the word grass was also in your mind a reference to non-Kalenjin groups. Is that correct?
Ni kweli.
Now, to the best of your recollection, did Mr. Ruto use any other terms or words to refer to non-Kalenjin groups?
Naweza kumbuka.
Can you tell the court what those words you remember are?
Alikuwa akisema hatutaki madoadoa.
Is madoadoa a Kalenjin word or a Swahili word?
Madoadoa ni neno la Kiswahili.
And can you tell the court what madoadoa means in Swahili?
Sababu alisema madoadoa ni kumaanisha wataki watu wa rangi mbili.
Witness, take your time and just using your own words, can you tell the court a little bit more detail about what you understand this term to mean?
Maana ya madoadoa, kwa sababu nguo ikiwa na rangi moja iwezi kaitwa madoadoa, na ikiwa na rangi mbili tayari hiyo nguo inaweza kuwa iko na madoadoa.
And in what context is the term madoadoa used, to your knowledge?
Neno madoadoa ni kumaanisha kabila zile ambazo ziko tofauti na kabila yake.
And is this something you understood when he said it, or did you come later to understand what it meant?
Hiyo nilisikia vizuri kwa sababu nilikuwa nimeanza kushika misemo zao.
And what was your reaction? What did you think when you heard Mr. Ruto say madoadoa? We don't want the madoadoa.
Kwangu nilijihisi mbeleni penye tunaelekea haitakuwa mzuri.
Uncertain in what way?
Sababu msemo ambao alitumikia haikuwa msemo ambao ni wa amani.
In that case, what did it refer to?
Alikuwa akimaanisha zile kabila zingine zitatoka.
Had you heard, I'm sorry, I'll rephrase and I'll restart. Had you heard this word used in the past before that day?
Mbeleni silikuwa sijawahi kusikia wakilitumia.
Did you hear it on other occasions or only on that day?
Nilianza kuisikia katika hizo mikutano za kisiasa.
Now, Mr. Witness, when I asked you what your reaction was to hearing this word, you said you felt the future was uncertain. I now want to ask you, from your observation of the crowd, what was the reaction of the crowd in the stadium?
Alipokuwa akiongea, watu walikuwa wakishangilia kwa wingi.
Was it all the people in the stadium?
Kwa sababu alipokuwa akiongea, uwanja yote ilikuwa ikishangilia. Sasa kwa sababu niwezi nikajue ni nani hakuwa akishangilia, lakini niliona uwanja wote watu wakishangilia.
The people that you did see cheering, which ethnic group, if you could tell, did they belong to?
Sababu wenye walikuwa karibu na mimi walikuwa wa kabila la Kalenjin.
My last question, are they the ones who you saw cheering?
Ndio, ni hawa walikuwa wakishangilia.
Mr. President, I'll wait for my learned friend to finish. We've got on the transcript the fact that Madoa Doa is a Swahili word. The witness has testified that he heard the words being uttered, that we don't want any Madoa Doa. That's page 31, line 1. I wonder if we could get clarification as to whether that was all in Kalenjin, apart from the word Madoa Doa or Swahili, and if so, the exact words that were uttered. And so that could be, if it is Kalenjin, once again it can be put into the transcript. I'd be grateful.
Your Honour, I could certainly do that, and we might have just enough time before the break for that to be done.
And when you say your last question, do you mean for the witness or before the break?
Rather on the topic, but perhaps that wasn't clear. But I'm aware of the time. If the court's minded, that could be my first question in the next session or my last question in this session.
Why don't you answer the question and we'll see if we need to take it further than that.
Witness, when I asked you about Madoa Doa and the words Mr. Ruto said, you told the court, and this is Mr. Ruto, he said we don't want any Madoa Doa. Now, we know Madoa Doa is a Swahili word. You've told us that. But what about the rest of his sentence? Was that in Swahili or another language when he said we don't want any? Do you understand?
Alitumikia msemo wa Kalenjin.
Okay. One at a time again, and slowly, please say the Kalenjin words.
Alisema kwa misemo ambayo inasema magimaje yito nitinyer ngoroigai.
Can you again kindly repeat slowly those words? Thank you.
Majimaje, Chito, Milaje, Koroik, Aing.
Mr. Witness, umesema magimache chito netinyei ngoroik aeng.
Iko sawa.
Mr. President, Your Honors, magimache is M-A-K-I-M-A-C-H-E. Chito is C-H-I-T-O. Netinyei is N-E-T-I-N-Y-E-I. Ngoroik is N-G-O-R-O-I-K. Aing, the last word is A-E-N-G.
Thank you very much.
Most obliged.
All right. We can take our morning break now. When we come back, you can complete the exercise.
Very well.
Witness, so we'll take our morning break for 30 minutes, a little less than that now. You will rejoin us at 11:30. Can we bring the blinds down, please? Witness, court officer.